and welcome back here as football has officially returned. The Bundesliga is back, and with it, of course, they have delivered goals, with Borussia Dortmund demolishing their rival Schalke by 4-0 at a completely empty Signal Iduna Park. It was a strange atmosphere. It was a very different sort of game, a different sort of derby than we'd usually see in this encounter, but still, in front of goal, Dortmund, Haaland, Guerrero, Hazard, absolutely ruthless. It was a brilliant performance with some fantastic goals, with plenty to discuss. And in today's video, we're going to be talking all about the game. We're going to be talking about Jean-Claude Todibo's performance in that first start before he went off with an injury. And of course, we're also going to be talking about all this afternoon's games from the Bundesliga. Coming right up for you, finally, a match review. Let's do it. And the first thing that I want to say in particular before we go on and talk about the game in some detail is that right now we can't expect too much too soon. Football is back and we're all very, very happy about that. But of course, it is going to take a bit of time here to get used to the surroundings, the different type of playing conditions, even the celebrations today were a little bit strange there to see that social distancing and on the bench, the coaches, all of that kind of stuff. It will take time. And also the players, they're just getting back into things. They haven't been in action now for a number of weeks. Some of them may still be trying to get up to speed. So I think it's really important here that we don't put too much pressure on the players too soon. Today, I think the football was pretty good. I think, to be honest, it took a bit of time there to get going, the sort of 20-25 minute mark. That was when things started to get moving. And I think as soon as that first goal went in for Borussia Dortmund, really then they started coming alive with far more confidence, far more purpose about their play. And in particular, this here was how the two teams lined up on the day. It was very similar in their systems. Both teams went there with 3 centre-backs. They went with the wing-backs in terms of 5 there at the back, 2 holding midfield players, and then both front threes really were quite flexible. I think with Dortmund they had Haaland, of course, leading the line there as that talisman. You had Brandt, who I think very much had a free roll in behind there. He was able to come out to the right, come out to the left, and he was really dictating things there from the centre of the field. Thorgan Hazard was coming. He was a late change there to the starting lineup, and I thought the 2 fullbacks, they were not fullbacks today. Guerrero and also Hakimi, they were bombing on every single chance they had. They got in behind Schalke, and I felt that was a real problem in that first half there for Schalke. They were far too open defensively. You had those 3 centre-backs. I think the wing-backs didn't provide there enough protection. I think they left them really exposed. Todibo at times was having to be dragged out. The same there for Nastasic. And it was difficult there for Schalke to contain Dortmund right the way through the game. They tore them apart. And the first goal did come just shy there of the half-an-hour mark in the game, and it was a truly wonderful move from Borussia Dortmund. From start to finish there, it was worked out the back. I think it was Piszczek there who started off the move. He played it there into midfield, and what really makes this goal is the little flick, the lovely little bit of skill there by Julian Brandt. That is what really does set this move away, and I thought he was brilliant right the way through the game. Brandt really was at the heart of every single goal that Borussia Dortmund scored. It was Brandt there with a flick into Thorgan Hazard, who again had got into that space there behind those wing-backs of Schalke. The centre-backs there were dragged out of shape. They weren't organised in the middle, and it was a brilliant cross into the area that finds Haaland, and it's an instinctive finish. And I think this boy here, he is such a natural goal scorer because he just makes it look as though it all comes effortless to him. He sticks out his foot, volleys it there into the back of the net. So much caress on the shot as well. He just used all that power from the cross to divert it goalwards, and a brilliant goal. And of course it was going to be Erling Braut Haaland scoring the first goal of any Bundesliga game as football returned. And like I say, when that goal went in, Dortmund were very much on their way. We had social distancing celebrations, and then just before half-time, a really big moment in the game because Dortmund doubled their lead, and this time it was all Schalke's own doing. The first goal was brilliant in the way that Dortmund went about their work, but the second goal, it's just dreadful play. Starting there with the goalkeeper, Schubert, trying to play it out the back. Schalke did this on a number of occasions, but the goalkeeper never looked comfortable playing the ball out the back. He hits it there. It's a mishit. It lands straight there at the heart of the Dortmund players. Advancing. Schalke, therefore, are not organised. Again, the centre-backs not really sure where they should be. Brandt picks up the ball, plays another brilliant pass here, this time perfectly weighted down the left-hand side into the path of Guerrero, who, like I say, was bombing forward, getting into really advanced areas. And I've got to say there, from the left wing back, brilliant finish. Straight across the goalkeeper, a lot of power on it, and all of the finishes today from Dortmund were absolutely fantastic. But Guerrero really did impress me in this kind of game. But like I say there, Schalke were the victims of their own downfall, poor organisation, and in the second half, they did try to change things. Todibo actually went off there with an injury. It was unfortunate there to see him pick up that injury in the first half, and a lot of people will say maybe that Todibo Todibo was at fault for the goals today, but I really didn't see it that way. I think Schalke, as a collective, were disorganised, but I wouldn't put that blame certainly on Todibo. And actually there in that first half, he had a really, really good piece of defending. It was a low cross into the area. Todibo got back there into a dangerous area and actually slid the ball away with a very, very good clearance, and that could have easily ended in a goal or even an own goal if Todibo hadn't have got there in the way that he did. So I think Todibo was very, very decent. I don't think he was anything extraordinary today. Like I say, I wouldn't expect too much, and I certainly wouldn't judge him solely off this game alone. But he did come off at half-time. Schalke tried to change their shape, but in the second half, they were simply just as wide open as they were in the first, and Dortmund really did take advantage. And it was pretty much straight after half-time there. Clearly Schalke were going to come and try and make a bit more inroads in attacking areas. In the first half, they were so quiet. I think they lacked pace. They lacked any drive there in those forward areas. They threw more men forward, and Dortmund there were happy to take advantage of that. They turned the ball over, got on the counter-attack. They were breaking there with a lot of pace. It goes up again to Erling Braut Haaland. He holds the ball up. He's just waiting. And I actually saw today a little bit of a different side to him. It wasn't all about that finishing, about that being a goal poacher. He was also involved in a few other areas of play. He holds it up, plays it there into the arriving Thorgan Hazard, who's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and again, brilliant finish. He makes absolutely no mistake there, rifles the ball home, so much power in it, smacks the back of the net. Of course, the crowd doesn't exactly erupt, but what we have here was a very, very confident Borussia Dortmund side. That there was 3-0, and then just past the hour mark, Dortmund really did put the icing on the cake. This here is a demolition in a derby match. Brandt again, starting proceedings, always involved, always looking there to get things moving. He plays it out to the left-hand side there, bring Guerrero into the game. Guerrero then plays the ball into Haaland. Again, he's good at holding the ball up. He's aware of his surroundings. He's very, very good in those areas. And that's the thing. Guerrero continues there to make that run. He doesn't just admire the pass. He's willing to get forward. They've got the licence there, these wing-backs, to do that. He gets into the box. Haaland finds him with a very clever pass. And it's a brilliant finish from Guerrero, considering there he's technically a defensive player. It's a great finish for his second goal of the game, and he truly is having an outstanding season. And of course, with football now back again, it does come complete with a rule change. Not only 3 subs are you allowed now, but you're allowed 5 in total. And that meant that Juan Miranda actually came on for Schalke for the final 15 minutes of the game. He's hardly received any game time at all during his time so far in Germany, but it was good to see him there, at least get out on the field. And with those 5 subs, perhaps we could see more of him in a Schalke shirt. And of course, I'll keep you updated there on exactly how Todibo is getting on with that muscle injury problem that ruled him out of the game after 45 minutes. It wasn't the game for him that we were hoping for. Sadly, we didn't get to see him for the full 90 minutes, and ultimately for Schalke, it was shambolic. A really poor performance, way below the level you'd expect. They could have come here today without the fans of Dortmund. It was a real opportunity for them in this derby game. They haven't taken it. Dortmund have won by 4-0, and elsewhere in the Bundesliga, some big results too, especially in the title race, with RB Leipzig dropping points there at home to Freiburg, who actually took the lead in that game and also had an injury time winner ruled out by VAR. There was also a win for Wolfsburg against Augsburg by 2-1. It was a complete stalemate in the relegation battle between Düsseldorf and Paderborn, with Hertha Berlin recording an outstanding away win there against Hoffenheim by 3-0 as Hoffenheim's poor form continues. And later on today, Frankfurt will face Mönchengladbach in the final game of the day before Bayern are in action tomorrow. That right now is how the Bundesliga stands. It is very nice indeed to have football back, to see it playing out. And like I say, it will take a bit of time. There will be those empty stadiums. It will feel at times a little bit eerie. But as it goes on, I'm sure that we'll get more and more used to it. And today, Dortmund were absolutely imperious. In front of goal, a brilliant performance. And certainly in terms of the title race here, now just 1 point behind Bayern Munich. They're certainly in the race. And Bayern tomorrow against Union Berlin, they do not have an easy game. I'll see you soon, guys. Plenty more videos to come. It's nice to do a match review again. It really is. I'll see you soon. Please leave your thoughts on the game down below. Who impressed you? Who are you looking forward to watching again? And what did you learn from today's fixture? And anything else you may have seen from the Bundesliga? I'll see you next time, guys. But until then, as always, enjoy the Bundesliga.